The United States of America is by far the hardest hit country due to the COVID-19 global pandemic in terms of total number of confirmed cases and deaths. The death toll due to the raging coronavirus pandemic in USA crossed 50,000 mark on April 24. Swetha Ganesh Kumar, an Indian living in New York City, talks about how life has changed under the coronavirus lockdown in USA.
I've been asked to speak about how it is living in New York City as it faces what seems to be one of the worst challenges that the city has faced after 9/11. So one of the first things about New York right now is it's really, really silent, and understandably so. We've had more than 15,000 deaths in the city alone, and also a lot of numbers across New York State. So one of the characteristics of we live in the East Village, which is in Manhattan. So one of the characteristics of living here is that it is you never hear the birds sing, because the only thing which you hear is people talking in different languages. There's so much of diversity. So you'll hear people talking in Spanish and even Hindi and Urdu and English, and it's just a mishmash of languages. You'll hear voices floating up from the street. We live right across one of a very popular park in the area. And you'll hear like fire trucks and buses and traffic. It's just a noisy place, but that's what the soundtrack is, what makes New York, New York. And it's really, really silent now. It's so silent that we actually get woken up by bird song, which sounds nice and wonderful, but not so much when you think of the human cost that has been paid for us to actually hear the birds sing. So how are we surviving? Basically, my husband has self-designated himself as the person in charge of groceries. So once every 10 days, he goes off to the supermarket, which is a couple of blocks from here. We're still shopping locally. We're trying to give back to the community as much as we can. Goes there, everyone is in masks and protective gear, and they have lines which are marked according to the 6 feet, the social distancing guidelines. And then he picks up grocery, comes back, because our groceries need replenishing pretty quickly, because we have 2 young kids at home, 8 and 4, and I'm sure parents know what I'm talking about. We need milk, we need snacks, we need things like that, right? So it's impossible for us to stay confined for months at a time, relying only on grocery delivery, because sometimes you just don't get slots on time. And the government has also allowed us to go out once a day for a walk or a run. Everything else is shut. So I don't know if you can see, but we actually have a basketball court right opposite, and it's been barricaded. The children's playgrounds have been shut. The dog runs have been shut. So right now it's just empty and silent, and rightly so, because initially when social distancing measures were introduced, a lot of people didn't take it seriously. They were trying to take it as a vacation, but that's not the case, as all of us know, all across the world right now. The only way to get fresh air is by wearing your mask and your protective gear. You walk around on the pavement, on the sidewalk, you take a 20-minute walk, and you do not touch anything, and you come straight back home. So that's kind of challenging. Apart from that, it's kind of awkward for me to do this video at all, because I do know how hard people have been hit across the world. So from that kind of a perspective, I do feel guilty about feeling frazzled at all. But the truth is that it is challenging, right? No matter where we are, especially if you have a young family to take care of, and especially when it is when your anxiety starts skyrocketing, because we are Indians and we were planning to come to India for summer to spend time with my family who lives there in Kerala. And the way things look right now, nobody knows when anyone can travel anymore, right? So there is no end date to this lockdowns. But the last thing I'd like to say is that even though New York City has been really badly hit and we are all figuring out our own ways to overcome this, or at least live through this. I think another thing which I have realized, is that how similar all of us are, right? Like, no matter where we live, we have really come together. There has been no other time in world history when we can relate to each other's lives as closely as we can now. And I hope this sense of feeling together, no matter where we are, really brings the world together in some way or the other, and that we can all live through this, survive this, and come out stronger on the other side. Stay well, everyone.